Imagine a world where law enforcement is constantly outpaced, where criminals amass wealth beyond our wildest dreams, and where the lines between politics, business, and crime are razor thin.
I spent years as a CIA agent working in the shadows, facing off with some of the most dangerous and wealthy criminal organizations in the world. But the truth is, these groups are more powerful, more connected, and richer than most of us can even imagine.
Welcome to the top 10 richest criminal organizations. I've seen it all. From the hidden networks in South America to the boardrooms of international crime syndicates, I'll take you on a journey through the world of criminal empires, shedding light on how these organizations thrive in the shadows. The overlap between crime and power.
As a CIA agent, I learned one thing. Crime doesn't just happen in dark alleyways. The biggest, richest criminal organizations operate in the same arenas as governments, corporations, and billion-dollar industries. Their wealth comes not just from illegal activities, but from the way they exploit legal systems, launder money, and work with corrupt officials. They don't play by the same rules, and that's why they're so dangerous.
But it's not just about the money. It's about control, about influence. These groups are so rich. They don't just run the streets, they run countries, industries, and even entire regions. I've seen it firsthand, and I'm going to share with you the top 10 organizations that are pulling the strings behind the scenes. The top 10 richest criminal organizations. Let's dive in. These are the organizations whose wealth and influence are so vast, they operate outside the scope of what most people understand about crime. Each of these criminal groups has made billions, if not trillions, of dollars over the years. Some you may know, and others not so much. 10. The Albanian Mafia. At number 10, we have the Albanian Mafia. They're not as famous as other crime families, but don't let that fool you. They control everything from drug trafficking to human smuggling and have a tight grip on certain parts of Europe and North America. They're known for their ruthlessness and efficiency.
During my time in Eastern Europe, we tracked Albanian crime syndicates. These guys are incredibly well organized. They've built a global network that's nearly impossible to penetrate, moving drugs, weapons, and people across borders with ease. Their operations generate billions every year, but it's all done under the radar.
9. The Italian Mafia, Cosa Nostra. At number 9, the Cosa Nostra, the infamous Italian Mafia. Once the most powerful criminal group in the world, their influence has waned over the years. However, their wealth and power are still immense. They control large parts of the Mediterranean, with significant operations in the US, Canada, and Europe. They're involved in everything from extortion to drug smuggling.
When I worked in Italy, the Cosa Nostra had a stranglehold on the local economy. They controlled construction, waste management, and even the tourism industry in certain areas. The money was everywhere, flowing through legitimate businesses and offshore accounts. The Mafia was a business, and it ran like one.
8. The Russian Mafia, Bratva. Number 8 is the Russian Mafia, or the Bratva. This group has expanded globally, reaching into every continent and nearly every criminal enterprise. From drug trafficking to cybercrime, they're involved in everything, and their wealth is estimated in the tens of billions. With their ties to the Russian government, they have unparalleled influence.
I've encountered Russian mobsters in multiple operations. They're well connected, not just with criminals, but also with politicians and businessmen. They use their vast wealth to infiltrate systems, build businesses, and launder money through sophisticated channels. They control massive industries like oil and arms dealing.
7. The Yakuza, Japan. Number 7 is the Yakuza, Japan's criminal underworld. Known for their strict code of honor, the Yakuza are deeply involved in everything from gambling to human trafficking, and their financial reach is staggering. They have a strong presence not only in Japan, but also in major cities across the world.
I've worked several cases involving the Yakuza. They run a tight ship with clear rules and a deep respect for tradition. But make no mistake, they're involved in serious crime, and they make a lot of money. Their wealth comes from a combination of legitimate businesses, like construction and entertainment, and their illegal operations, including extortion and drug trafficking.
6. The Mexican cartels. Coming in at number 6, we have the Mexican cartels. The Sinaloa, Jalisco New Generation, and Zetas are just a few of the major players. These cartels are responsible for the global cocaine, meth, and fentanyl trade, and their revenue is estimated in the billions.
I spent years working along the U.S.-Mexico border, and the Mexican cartels are a force of nature. Their operations are incredibly sophisticated. They have everything from tunnels under the border to encrypted communications. They're not just selling drugs, they're running entire cities and regions, and they've infiltrated law enforcement and politics in many countries.
5. The Chinese triads. At number 5, we have the Chinese triads. With a history dating back centuries, the triads have a strong presence in East Asia and beyond. Their wealth comes from drug trafficking, human smuggling, counterfeit goods, and more. Their network is vast, spanning continents.
The triads are extremely well organized, and they're in nearly every major city around the world. Their operations range from drugs and human trafficking to smuggling and money laundering. What makes them so dangerous is their ability to blend into legitimate business environments, making it harder for authorities to track their movements.
4. The Medellin cartel. At number 4, we have the Medellin cartel, led by the infamous Pablo Escobar. During its peak, the Medellin cartel was making an estimated $70 million a day from cocaine sales. Although Escobar is gone, his legacy lives on in the modern-day cocaine trade.
I was involved in several operations aimed at dismantling the Medellin cartel. The amount of money flowing through those operations was unbelievable. They had their own armies, their own airplanes, and their own private networks. The wealth was staggering, and the level of violence was unimaginable.
3. The Cali cartel. Number 3 goes to the Cali cartel, the rival to the Medellin cartel. This group took a more business-like approach to the drug trade, running a sophisticated operation that controlled much of the cocaine flow into the U.S. Their wealth is estimated to be over $10 billion.
The Cali cartel was more calculated than the Medellin cartel. They weren't just violent, they were strategic. They didn't operate in chaos. They ran a corporation. Their network was vast, and they were incredibly good at laundering their money.
2. The 'Ndrangheta. At number 2 is the 'Ndrangheta, an Italian mafia group based in Calabria. They control much of the global cocaine trade and have been linked to drug trafficking, money laundering, and arms dealing. Their estimated wealth exceeds $60 billion. 1. The Sinaloa cartel. And at number 1, the Sinaloa cartel, led by the infamous Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. This cartel controls a significant portion of the global drug trade, especially when it comes to heroin, meth, and fentanyl. Their wealth is estimated to be over $3 billion a year.
The Sinaloa cartel is by far the richest and most powerful. They control supply chains across multiple continents. Their network is so vast, they can influence governments, law enforcement, and businesses. I worked on operations that tracked their money laundering, and it was clear that they had resources that rivaled entire nations. I've seen firsthand the way these organizations operate. They're not just criminals, they're power players, shaping entire economies and societies. Their wealth is staggering, but it comes at a cost: violence, corruption, and the erosion of justice. As I look back on my time in the CIA, I know one thing for sure. These criminal empires will continue to shape the world for years to come.
Thanks for watching. Stay aware, stay safe, and remember, money isn't always the goal. Power is. Kindly like and share the video with friends to help us reach 100 subscribers. Thank you all for making us reach 50 subscribers. We are very grateful.